Hello, good evening, welcome to the Dugout. We are just 2 sleeps away from what promises to be yet another exciting test match between India and England. I hope all of you had a great weekend and missed our Dugout.
It'll also be quote-unquote crucial one for India.
Crucial though, every match, like every session is.
Yeah, that's what.
Crucial. Every test match is crucial. It'll be like that till the 5th test match. Even though if you would have lost the series, they'll be crucial for some players individually.
See, everything is crucial. Even if you take, let's say, an unassailable 3-1 lead, it becomes crucial from the WTC perspective.
Correct. So it'll be. Hope all of you had a great weekend and are refreshed to enjoy some cricket, and on top of that our coverage that's going to be coming your way. It starts from today for us effectively, this test match, because one of the most important exercises to critically look at the 11, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. I'm joined by Harshit and Siddharth. Before we get to the 11, there are already a lot of indications that have come, which is giving us a hint as to what the Indian 11 is going to be looking like, and eventually we'll make our own 11s, which we think are the best possible 11. But let's dive in. My 2 learned friends seem to have picked up a lot from hearing Grant and DOESCHATE's press conference, so they will break it down to you and tell you what is going to happen, what will be the 11.
What's funny for me, what he said towards the end of the press conference, that I've almost said yes to everything. Whether it's playing 2 spinners, yes. Whether Bumrah will play, yes, that's a possibility. Whether you'll go with Nitish Reddy, he has a great chance of playing because he's a batting all-rounder. So, sometimes...
ARSHDEEP also he said yes.
Yeah, ARSHDEEP also he said it. That was the question in which he said, he has a great
everything
chance.
He has said yes. So I don't know what you guys are going to tell us.
Just the one
which
thing
will be some new insight.
The one thing I picked up is that no matter where you are, who you are, whether you're, an assistant coach of the Indian team, or no matter what you're working, what walk of life you're in, even if it's your birthday and you're called to work, you go to work.
It's his birthday.
It's his birthday, and the man had to answer so many of these barrage of questions, I would say, that was pointed at him.
Why don't the point is, why don't they send somebody who can answer the questions and give us a definite answer to those questions? Like,
not like the leadership group will decide. But
yeah,
today,
my point is, like, there are players coming. Like, I think England have got Chris Woakes coming in today. So, he's part of the 11, he's playing. You get a chance to know. India only sends sometimes assistant coaches, batting coaches, bowling coaches.
But I thought today still there were some very definitive answers, and they weren't
like what?
Let's say non-committal answers,
like
which
what?
you get to hear from players.
Like what?
Like the fact that Jasprit Bumrah, there's so much talk around Jasprit Bumrah that he won't be playing. You're looking at him playing 1, 3 and 5 test matches, but it looks like now Jasprit Bumrah is probably going to be there in Birmingham.
No, but that's not what he said.
He didn't say that. But what he said,
I want to know what is that. You said definite answers. What is the
in
definite
the sense
answer?
that you now know Jasprit Bumrah is available.
That too, he didn't answer. That are visuals of him bowling in the nets. I want to know what is it that he said definite. He said Jasprit Bumrah can play, but we don't know whether he'll play the 2nd test, 3rd test, or whatever. We know that he can play 3 out of 5.
This is from all the vagueness that we're so used to. This is still more clarity coming and a deviation from
There's
that
no
vagueness.
clarity. I don't know after listening to that whole thing that whether he's playing the next test.
So
it's not a definite answer. You tell me one definite answer he's given. One definite answer with which you can say with guarantee that something.
Yashasvi Jaiswal will probably not be in the slip cordon.
Once again, it's probably.
No. That also he said we've given him a rest because his hands are quite swollen and we need slip fielding and other important areas of fielding maybe. Tell me a definite answer in terms of playing 11. Okay, I'll give you that in the sense, okay, there's a good possibility that what Grant and DOESCHATE said that, and again he's not said it, as is being reported also, that Yashasvi Jaiswal was not fielding in the slips after those drop catches. So now Yashasvi Jaiswal will not be in the slips. He'll get the leg slip role or short leg role, whatever that. I want to know in terms of 11, like he said yes for Nitish Reddy. He has said yes for Kuldeep Yadav. He has said yes for 2 spinners and added Washington Sundar also in that with Jadeja. He has said yes to ARSHDEEP. He has said yes to Jasprit Bumrah. He has said yes to ARSHDEEP Singh. So tell me one definite answer. But sitting here now, you can say that is going to happen.
Nothing that he said.
That can tell you what is going to happen. Because some things, whatever he said, will happen, and some won't happen.
Yeah.
Because if you say yes to everything, then obviously by
all cannot happen. No?
all probability 3 or 4 will work, 3 or 4 won't.
What if I'm doing 1+1 over here, because of all the spinners that we just spoke about, there was one spinner who was talked about the most, as one would guess, is Kuldeep Yadav. There seem to be enough indicators that Kuldeep could be playing. If you
No. There also, he said himself, he was not asked about Washington. That's what I'm saying. He was asked about 2 spinners. He said he has a great chance of playing 2 spinners. But who are going to be those 2 spinners?
No, but
we can't say. We can go in with an off spinner. We can go with an out and out spinner. Do we need to play 2 spinners who are all rounders? He's given you all options. Listen to that answer again.
But the
that
first
may be
time,
your gut feeling. I'm not denying.
the
I'm saying
first
here.
answer that he gave on Kuldeep looked like, and also, so why I said 1+1 is from whatever has been reported up till this point about
saying
India's
his
need.
press conference.
And then I'm picking up what I have from this PC then.
Only I'm asking on this PC. Do not say what is happening. You tell me from it.
Need to apply those things that you've learned over all these
Nothing from
in the
this,
build-up.
Nothing from this PC is
So 1+1 I'm doing over here.
Yeah, nothing from this PC is concrete. That's for sure.
Yeah, because he
Cannot
said
really
yes for
rely
everything.
on all these
I said I've just named some 7 players that he has said yes to,
No, see, with
who are on the fringes.
Nitish Reddy said, he's looking good, etc.
No, he almost made it certain that he will play. When I heard that, that's what I'm saying. When that press conference started, when I heard Nitish Reddy, I was like, guaranteed Nitish Reddy. Then I heard Kuldeep Yadav, guaranteed Kuldeep Yadav. Then I heard on Washington, I said, guaranteed Washington. Then he spoke about Bumrah, guaranteed he's playing. He spoke about ARSHDEEP, guaranteed.
No, one player-
So I was like, then I later calculated, then by that logic, I'll have to be making a 15-member squad to be playing against
The
England.
one question I was...
He was confident about every player that you asked, and he said, see, this is the problem, which is why I go back to that point that you should then send somebody who can actually be
But
telling you what the team is going to be.
See,
Can I tell you what
even-
the problem is?
But even then,
No,
I
he
think
may
the
not
only
tell
time-
you.
Yeah. The
That's
only
another
time
thing.
you get some quote-unquote definitive written in bold answers when the chief selector comes and he's got no place to dodge then.
No, but
on most
that's not the
occasions, then you
point.
will get to those pointed answers.
But you will not get this, no? That's what my point is.
Here-
See, here everything was said. That's what I'm trying to say. The point is, and this is the reality, the assistant coach, I don't think has any say in what the 11 will be looking like. That's why, what does he do now? If I'm in his place, this is exactly what I also do. If I go there, I can't be running down a player. I'm in a precarious position. I'm in a position where I cannot also be deciding what the team is going to be like. So what is my only go-to thing to do? Everything you ask me, yeah. Is Harshit is playing? Harshit is a great person. I think he can. Siddharth can, oh yeah, he's very good. There's a good chance there. This one, there's a good. I can only say that. When I'm in a position, let's say I'm the captain or the coach who probably will have a certain say. I'm not saying he'll come and tell you the team, but then they will also not say yes to everything.
Yeah.
They might be like, oh, listen, we have to still think of the team combination, you may be thinking, but, and so they don't have to be sugarcoating about every player at that very moment. But in his, you see, you got to understand his position is also precarious in that. He does not wield a lot of authority that he can actually call a spade and say things as they are. So that is why he'll be complimentary of everyone. And that is why everything that he says seems true, and as I said, by default some things will turn true. Maybe a Nitish Kumar Reddy will end up playing, or a Kuldeep might still end up playing, or whatever, but then you can say, he gave us an indication, but everyone will forget that he also spoke about Washington Sundar, or he also spoke about ARSHDEEP, or if Bumrah is resting, he also spoke about Bumrah. Don't know. Bumrah, though, he said both things. He said he can play and he cannot play also. So then I'm not any wiser after I've heard what. I probably would have been more wiser having seen the visuals of Jasprit Bumrah bowling. Now 2 days in a row he's been bowling in the nets. That will tell me more than the press conference. That's why I go back to the point which I said earlier. It's better to send somebody, who can
authority.
who
I
can
think even people with authority, they don't really reveal anything. Or
yeah,
for
they
that
won't.
matter,
But they won't be complimentary of everyone. That's my point. They will not come and.
but I think they'll be even more diplomatic than Ryan
No.
Tendulkar.
What they will say. I'll just give an example. Like if there is a.
Who are those people of authority?
Only
Shubman Gill? Shubman
the
Gill,
only two
yeah.
people. Yes.
Then, and
yes.
has to be
And
Pant as well. He's the vice captain.
Vice captain to an extent. See, and to be honest, to be fair to even Arant and DOESCHATE, even if it was part of a decision-making process, all of that will only happen on the eve of the game. India does not decide its 11 well in advance. They may have seen the conditions, and captain may have his own thoughts right now, coach may have his own thought, or a vice captain or whatever. But the team is always decided a day before only, when they'll sit together, decide. In fact, we know this now very well, that people who make their debuts or people who are making a comeback or whatever, they are told on the eve of the game only, that day, that listen, you're going to be playing tomorrow, so get yourself, like it happened with Sai Sudarshan. It's always a day before the game that you get to know. So I think that conversation has already not happened. So to be fair, as I said to the assistant coach, I don't think he can come and individually also, even if he was in a decision-making authority, be able to tell you what the team is going to be like. Because at the end of the day, when you sit, then everyone will have its opinion. And then the team will be made. So not much that he can tell you. Which is why the Dugout is an amazing platform. Because whatever we do is with so much transparency that everyone will get to see. And this is, it'll also be effectively how the whole chatter happens as well. In just like how when we will be talking, we'll have our agreements or disagreements or whatever, and that's exactly how it will happen with the team when they go out as well.
Yeah, we're just trying to figure this.
Yeah, I think there is some
probably
update.
there could be a chance of England revealing their 11 or 12.
That's okay, we'll see when it comes.
I'm just trying to figure that out. But anyway, yeah, that just sets the
that
tone with
we'll
that
figure when it comes.
That press conference that we were talking about just sets the tone for us perfectly to go ahead and make the 11 of the Indian team.
And England have named their 11.
Okay.
It is the same as the first test. No Jofra Archer. That's what even Rob Key also said, their director of cricket, that Jofra Archer has a good chance of playing at least one of the next 2 matches. So he could be playing at Lord's. But this time around, same 11. I'll just read it out for you. Zach Crawley, Ben Duckett, Oli Pope, Joe Root, Harry Brook, Ben Stokes, the captain, Jamie Smith, Chris Wokes, Bryden Cass, Josh Tongue, and Shoaib Bashir.
It's the same one then.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, I
got breaking news for you guys. Comes on the English team and their 11, which is, again, we don't have to run you through now because it is exactly the same as in the test match that happened previously at Leeds, and I don't think that's surprising either. Nobody would want to change a winning combination, so I guess.
And with Jofra, you don't want to introduce him too quickly as well in the series. There's still 3 more test matches. He's coming back into test cricket after a long time. So and he didn't bowl a lot per se. He's been bowling, but that rhythm, I saw a couple of those videos as well. That rhythm was lacking a bit, and I think it's the right thing as well. And you have every reason to back the 11 that won without a Jofra Archer. If giving him enough game time in the county.
With Jofra, what I heard was that apparently it's not. He left the English camp yesterday. He's had a personal thing to attend to. I don't know whether it's an emergency or not. This I was just reading that he was not with the camp. He's gone. So I don't know whether Jofra has not been picked because they think he's not 100% or because he had a personal emergency. Okay. So whatever the case, he was the only one that they would have got. But what that tells me also that again, I'm just looking at the entire scenario. What that tells me also, the conditions might not be very different in Edgbaston as compared to what they were in Leeds, because in terms of playing combination, they've still gone with that one spinner and they are going with their 3 fast bowlers and a Ben Stokes there. So yeah, that's the only thing that is noteworthy. But as I said, Jofra, I don't think fitness or anything else was an issue with him. We saw him in that county game also, and I would have played Jofra any day. But I think it's a personal issue that he's had to address and deal with, which is why they haven't picked. So in all the debate, that's what I was saying, that Indian team themselves wouldn't have figured their India 11 right now. They will figure once they have a meeting, and all we've heard is he can also play. And look at England, the 11 is only out. They've told you this is our 11, same 11 as it was in the previous test match, and that's the 11 we're going with. See, this is the kind of clarity that you like. No uncertainty, straight.
India had such kind of clarity in 2018-19 in that Border Gavaskar trophy, wherein you at least revealed the 12 before each and every test. Like I remember, I was the most surprised before the MCG test when I could not understand who would open, whether it's going to be Mayank Agarwal or Cheteshwar Pujara or Hanuma Vihari will open alongside Mayank Agarwal. I think that was the only time I remember in the last 5 to 6 years or so, India revealing their 12, but apart from that, it's all a surprise.
I mean, I think the WTC thing and how it turned out, that final, where India did.
Just an update on that. You're right. Archer's left for family emergency, but he's expected to rejoin tomorrow.
Yeah, but maybe because of this uncertainty or
yeah.
whatever, they've let him go. I don't know. Again, we are not 100% sure whether it's his form, fitness, or whatever that they've not picked him. But I know that he did leave them for a emergency, and who knows, he may not come back tomorrow also. So I mean, if it's a family emergency, you can't put a timeline to it, na.
Of course.
Yeah. So then,
or maybe they were very sure of the plans, irrespective of what has happened with Archer, that they still wanted to go with the same 11. Maybe that's the case.
Because I was scanning, in the build-up, ever since he made that appearance in the county, I think the larger opinion, and over there the media has a much greater say than I believe, or a greater stakeholders than we do here in India, where they and quite a lot of them said that perhaps it won't be the right thing as well. He's a bit undercooked right now. You want him to get more game time, and maybe the right thing will be to unleash him later on.
so here they are, one of the premier fast bowlers in the world they have, but they're going to ease him, and they're not willing to risk him, and they're saying maybe he may not be in good form. And we are so desperate to play one of our premier fast bowlers who may not be 100% fit and his workload needs to be managed, but we are like, no, have to play him, because without him to pata nahi kya hoga, which is right also. I'm not saying,
I think the worry,
which is true also. But look at the scenario. You see, this is what I'm trying to say. When I said no, you have to start preparing yourself for life without a Jasprit Bumrah. And a lot of top countries go through these phases when some of their top players are missing. You repose faith in some other bowlers and then back them to the hilt. And I think that's exactly what India would also have to look at. Look at England. Let's say Jofra was 100% available and there's no family thing. Yet they've said no. Our three bowlers, we won a test match, they've done the job. Why rush him in?
Yeah.
And here we are. Oh, Jasprit, can you play 4? Please play 5. Without Chowe. Why should that happen? I mean, if physically it's going to be a strain on him and he cannot give his best, then you should then go with somebody else who is 100% fit and available for you for that test match. And that's the difference. And see, probably that's the whole thing about the two teams, and I guess that's the difference between the setup of two teams, why we are saying that England seemed like a much better team compared to India at the moment.
Having said that,
any thoughts, guys? Come on, what happened?
Oh, I thought we're going to be diving into the 11 now.
Sure, whatever.
You could do that. Yeah, because that is something that we said in the build-up to the series, and it's not changed with that, especially that result of the first Test match. So England were the better team. We knew that. However, bowling departments, where we were comparing, you felt like the England bowling attack is sort of matching the Indian bowling attack. But when you add a Jasprit Bumrah in India's mix, that's where India seemed to have a little more experience and have that X factor. But with England taking that advantage with a Bumrah on the other side, and at some point Jasprit Bumrah, it can be the second test or the third test that he doesn't play, then that English side, the batting was anyway stronger than India's. The experience quotient was much higher than the Indian side. So all of that put together, when you're 1-0 ahead, and if there's no Jasprit Bumrah in the second or the third test, whatever, then you just become an even stronger outfit.
Yeah, I think just one quick point from England's perspective. I think it's a great 11, but personally, I would have gone with Jofra Archer ahead of Chris Woakes. Now that Jofra,
Woakes.
Yeah, I would have gone with Archer ahead of Woakes. I just feel that Chris Woakes is actually past his prime. He's only being preserved for the England conditions, not really played in overseas test matches, does not play ODIs also anymore. I think it's still a part of the T20I setup, in and around the T20I setup. But I think he did not really look good in the first test, but so were the other bowlers too, apart from Jasprit Bumrah. But personally, just to make sure that you would need that extra pace against the likes of some of the Indian batters, I would have gone with Archer ahead of him. Rest, definitely this 11 seems fine.
Okay, let's get to it in that case. We heard from the Indian assistant coach as well. And as we make our 11, let's try and put that knowledge into use and make the Indian 11. Shiva?
Okay, let's start with the openers. And I think this is where there's probably going to be no debate for that matter. Yashasvi Jaiswal, despite all the drop catches that he had, the batter, Yashasvi Jaiswal, he did well in the first innings, scored 100. So I think he definitely makes the cut at that number 1 position. And we talk about KL Rahul, a good 40 odd in the first innings in Leeds, and then 100 that came, I think, after a gap of 9 or 10 odd matches. So that's where at least I feel, there's no debate whatsoever. So my 2 openers are Jaiswal and KL Rahul. Any other suggestions?
Shivam, you got to be with us today. Otherwise, it's impossible for us to go on. Let's write Jaiswal. We've got Jaiswal there. We've got KL Rahul there. We've got Shubman Gill at 4. You've got Rishabh Pant at 5.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And
Shubman Gill at 4. And Pant at
this is
5.
interestingly no thoughts exchanged on Sai Sudarshan, I guess, in that press conference.
But if you had asked him, he would have probably said
yes
he
to
has
that
a
as well.
very good chance of playing that. So no.
Yeah, that he looked good in the nets and he's been hitting the ball
makes
well.
no difference.
Yeah.
So what are the variables then for this Indian team? I'm just
The
thinking.
only see why I have gotten those things written. Please keep showing it to the viewers as well. Why I got these names written is because this is not even up for debate. So no point even getting into the debate of who we will have and who we will not have. Now the issue is only Sai Sudarshan and Karun Nair.
See, in case of Sai Sudarshan, I don't know, there were a few users who actually messaged me on Instagram and asked me that is Sai Sudarshan fit to play the second test? I did not really come across any report which said that
they were.
They were
few days ago.
Okay, but I think he was seen in one of the practice visuals today. But assuming
he's
that
been practicing the last 2 days. There were few reports before that.
Okay, so assuming he's fit and everything is fine, I'm going to go with Sai Sudarshan. See, he did not really do well in the first innings in Leeds. That's fine. It can happen to anyone who's on a debut. But in second innings, he did show some kind of a composure, only to be dismissed by Ben Stokes later. It's just one match. You would not really want to chop and change after just one game. And Sai Sudarshan has all the credentials to be a good test player. He has the technique, can play it with soft hands also. That's required in England conditions. So for me, Sai Sudarshan makes the cut.
I wasn't of the opinion that Sai should have started the series. You wanted to introduce him in the test series at some point if things weren't working out. Would have been a different thing. But because you've already tried him, and I don't look at it as a great sign when you make too many changes after just one defeat. So my head tells me they're going to be sticking with Sai Sudarshan at number 3.
It's your team.
Our team, I remember the one that we made as well. It had Karun Nair at 3.
That test you made your team. This is the second test, your team.
I would still have Karun Nair at 3. I think number 6 is too low a position for Karun Nair anyway. I would continue to back him for number 3.
Yeah, I
just have one question for Harshit here. That what would you tell Sai Sudarshan, assuming that India do leave him out and Karun Nair gets to that number 3 position? What are you going to tell him, assuming you are the coach?
There's so many people who need to be explained, and there's a Sarfaraz who I don't know has been told what reason he wasn't played in Australia. There's a Sarfaraz who's playing again in the 8 over, scored a century as well in the intra-squad match. Then also I don't know what that conversation. So they've had tougher conversations to do, I believe, and if they have to have one more, then why not have one more? Hope that answers.
See, again, I also wasn't in favor of getting Sai Sudarshan ahead of so many players who had been playing before him and who had done nothing wrong. Sarfraz being one of them, who was not even in the squad. So they deserve to be ahead of Sai Sudarshan in the squad. But now that you played him in the first test match at that position, then it'll be unfair even to change his position or to even drop him. I don't think it's the right message, not only to Sai Sudarshan, but right message in general. So yeah, you've gone with him, you need to back him. So Sai Sudarshan then remains for me at number 3. Now number 6.
Maybe that's also a given now. Sai slots in at 3, then yeah, number 6 remains the same.
No, it's your team, you can do
For
anything.
me, it's Karun Nair. Once again, the same logic. It's just one game. Karun Nair missed out in the first innings. Second innings, he did score a good 20 odd. I think, yeah, he could have capitalized because he is, probably one of your main middle order batters. He has all the experience of domestic cricket, has come back to the Indian cricket team after a long time. But then, that's where all the experience counts of playing domestic and county cricket. So just one match, not really going to look much into that failure that Karun Nair had. So for me, he makes a cut, for sure.
Yeah, same. Karun Nair at number 6.
Yeah, +1, +2, whatever. Nothing more to add. These guys have already summed it up. So, give him another go. He deserves it. In fact, I often said he spent 7 years trying to make a comeback into an Indian team. The least you can do is give him 7 innings to prove himself.
Absolutely.
So I think that will be a fair call. And he played 2 aggressive strokes. Got out to both of them.
Yeah, first was
It
a
happens.
blinder, I think, from Ollie Pope. Just very unlucky over there. And the second one, I think he's going to be, not happy with himself, just hitting straight down. It wasn't a wicket taking
That was also a great catch, by the way.
Vokes, I think it was, who he hit straight back to. But both those shots actually, he wouldn't have liked the way he was out.
Okay, now your
7.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Should we now just change the order and go bottom to top?
Bottom to top will be tough because your bowling order will depend, as in, no, I know that you may pick a fast bowler, but where will he bat, you would not know now. So let's go.
Okay.
Deal with the elephant in the room, the tough question. Catch the bull by its horns. Try and answer those questions and then get to what you have to.
Okay.
You've heard a full press conference, you got so many definite answers, so you would know who's playing.
Yeah, Jadeja's place is pretty much enshrined in this team. I don't see him going out, and at number 7, he stays.
Despite India not having a
good time, despite him not finding the rough as he should have. But I don't think his place in this Indian team is in that rough zone right now. I think he sort of selects himself. And this Indian team, which is very young, remember, you make too many changes, you're only getting inexperienced people. You need experience in this side. Jadeja wasn't able to make use of his experience, but I'm sure he's going to be more proactive, and so will the captain in terms of asking him to put on the thinking cap much sooner. And if there's a rough that develops as the test wears on, then you've got to be targeting that rough even more.
Okay.
Why don't we make 3 different teams?
Yeah, actually, I would love that if that happens.
Okay, we'll make 3. Just copy and just write on top whose team that is.
Top 6 remains, obviously, yeah.
No, you like...
No, top 6, I think we are pretty much on...
the same page. No,
Yeah.
he's not on the same page. No.
Well, that doesn't make a difference, in the sense like...
This is your team,
Going by
Harshdeep.
that, my team, I think, again, I wish I was the selector in that case.
No, but you
because
have to have conviction. No?
now, exactly my point, because going by that, then I would have been outvoted for number 6 if I didn't have a Karun Nair at 3, which I got outvoted on. Because again, experience tells you that it's going to be Sai only. And there's no way Karun Nair doesn't make it. So it doesn't really serve a purpose that way. Also knowing that this Indian team is going to be doing certain things that it's already done. So regardless of what I feel, you need to keep that into consideration.
Yeah, so do whatever, but then come up with your team. No? That's what my point is. Do whatever you have to do in your mind. That's something that you have to do in your mind. So if you feel you have conviction in something, you go with whatever you have to. Like I have heard Ryan and DOESCHATE say so many things, and that may be clouding my judgment, but eventually I'll make the team which I think is the best team for India.
Yeah.
And I have, for example, I also believed in Sai Sudarshan not playing the first test match, but now that he has, I think now it's be unfair to drop him. So I am sitting ahead of a second test match and I'm been given the responsibility of making the team. How will I make the team? I don't have to rely on anybody else to tell me how my team should look like. I'm going to make the team which I think is the best for India.
But then we all concede, right? The best team, though we had a best
Correct.
team.
So I did make that best team before the first test.
Yeah.
But now that team has played, then I'll have to make for the second test. My mindset will change, right? Supposing I may believe in SIRAJ ahead of the first test, but I will now, after the first test, can be convinced that no, I was wrong to pick SIRAJ, and
But
that can change.
I'm saying we are not getting convinced by Sai's performances to have him at number 3.
What,
that is
no,
just
I'm not,
basis
but
the knowledge
Harshit,
that we
whatever
have.
be the reason, you'll have your own reasons.
Yeah.
I'm not putting my reasons for you. It's your own reasons. Whatever reasons you have, it has to be your 11.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to put. I thought of my reason as to I did not want Sai initially, but now my reason is now once I picked him, I will have him. That's my reason. So your reason, go ahead, pick whatever you want, and we'll put that down. So. Do you want me to go? Because I'm the only one who has.
Yeah, you can. I don't know how we do this. You want to complete your 11 first?
No, I think let's go spot by spot. I think that would be
Okay. Then he'll have to.
even more interesting.
Okay, let's go. Let's go with Siddharth's number 7.
Okay, so it's going to be an interesting selection, at least from my perspective. Would love to hear from both of you. I'm going to go with Dhruv Jurel at number 7.
Interesting.
I think, see, with that said, and one thing that I'm going to also, clear it out with the number 7 spot, that I am dropping Jadeja for the second test. This is one thing for sure, that Jadeja does not make my 11 in this case. See, if there's one thing with respect to Jadeja in overseas test matches that we have seen time and again, is that he does more of the containing job. And there can be an argument this time around that in the first test Leeds, there were a couple of drop chances of his bowling. He was slightly unlucky. Get that. But largely, Jadeja, the bowler, has done more of a containing job. Now, you are in a situation wherein your batting can be a little shaky, and that's where you would need more wicket-taking options. Not sure whether Bumrah is going to make it to the 11 or not, the original 11 that India will play in the Leeds. So just to make sure that you have some more stability in the middle order and have more wicket-taking options towards the 8, 9, 10, 11 spots, I'm going to go with Dhruv Jurel. I think he has all the credentials to be a good test batter. We have seen it in the past also. And even if, let's say, with Pant in the side, there's very less chance of Dhruv Jurel playing as a keeper batter. But still, he has everything in him to be a proper test batter. For me, he makes the cut.
Okay, very interesting. Yes.
I'm going to go with Jadeja. I already said that. I don't see this Indian team moving past Jadeja. He may not have, and I was just looking at his numbers. He doesn't average a lot. I think it's his second most, the second highest average that he has in Sena Nations. I think it's in England at 48 or 39, something like that. I think 48 was the highest. I think 39 is his average in England. So. And with the ball that I'm talking about, so doesn't have those great numbers, but still think again, had he been able to use the rough better, if there had been better application. He was reverse swept by Dugout 3 to 4 times, and all of those resulted in boundaries. So he was just a little late to switch on, but I don't see a scenario where you won't need Jadeja's experience.
My number 7, in fact, I thought I'll be the only one who's dropping Jadeja from my 11, but I'm happy to note that Siddharth has done too. My number 7 is Jurel / Nitish Kumar Reddy.
But if you have to pick one?
No, I'll tell you that.
Okay.
So, NKR, right? So, I have these two options. I've put them in the order that I would like. Jurel ahead of a Nitish Kumar Reddy, but I'm also okay if Nitish Kumar Reddy plays, and I'll get to that once we get to 8, 9, 10, 11. Everything is related, right? The team has to be related to what we get down to. Yeah, you want to start with your 8 this
Yeah,
time?
I'll start with my 8, and I'm going to go with Kuldeep Yadav in this one. Enough indicators, I would say, that he makes his way into this Indian side.
What indicator did you get?
You're looking at reports wherein there is greater emphasis on a wicket taker. You fail to take.
What do you need reports for that?
20
You saw the match, you would have.
Exactly, and not just it's not just about the reportage around Kuldeep Yadav right now, but also with regards to the fact that you realize you need a genuine wicket taker. And when you look at other bowlers besides the Bumrah, the other genuine wicket taker you have who doesn't need conditions per se or takes the conditions away, the pitch away from the equation, out of the equation, is a Kuldeep Yadav for his sheer wicket taking ability. And he's got good numbers. It's an opposition he knows very well as well. He's taken 19 wickets against England, and he's got decent numbers. So and whatever that I could pick from that press conference as well, where there was a lot of faith I felt that was shown in Kuldeep Yadav. I think I'd like to have him. Forget the press conference. If I'm looking at easing the burden on Jasprit Bumrah, if the conditions are to be as flat as they were, where you had a Jasprit Bumrah bowl in excess of 40 overs, and if you don't want a repetition of that, why were you over bowling Jasprit Bumrah here and there, or a couple of overs that you had to ask him, because he was your wicket taking bowler. You didn't know who else to turn to, and in Kuldeep Yadav you get that option.
Okay.
I think +1 for me. Kuldeep Yadav at number 8. You need a wicket taking option, and you need some support for Bumrah also, assuming he plays in that way. But in my 11, I think Kuldeep Yadav has to make the cut. He has to play not just this match, but the remaining 3 matches too, after the second test here. So yeah, +1 for me.
Okay, I think it's 3 out of 3. Harshit also picked him. I've also picked him, and so has Siddharth. Kuldeep comes for me. And I'll tell you what, this is actually, because I stressed on the point that Sai Sudarshan and Karun Nair, after one game, I'm not going to drop them. The reason I've had to drop a Jadeja and a Shardul, because I don't think even they should have been dropped after one game, just as that same logic applies to a Karun Nair and a Sai Sudarshan. But the reason I've had to do it is because of the combination of the team. I desperately need to fit in a Kuldeep Yadav in my team. I want Kuldeep because at the moment I think he will be a one wicket taker if you do have batting friendly conditions, which you expect may be here at Edgbaston too. Now I have to bring him in. As soon as I bring him in, now I'm caught in a catch-22 situation. How do I manage? Now for that I will have to sacrifice a Shardul Thakur. I cannot, let's say even if you go with a Jadeja and a Kuldeep, still Shardul Thakur gets sacrificed. So again, not Shardul Thakur's fault that he was underbowled by the captain, but now because I have to get a Kuldeep in, I may have to pull a Shardul Thakur out. Secondly, now when you look at my combination, if I play if I play a Jadeja and a Kuldeep, Jadeja coming in at number 7, I'm not sure. Remember, previous test match, India were only comfortable with batting at 8 also, Shardul. That's another matter, Shardul didn't get run, but they went for Shardul because they get some sort of backup. I don't think Indian team is comfortable with your batting finishing at 6. They're comfortable with your batting finishing at 6 when you can get 2 bowling all-rounders to come at 7 and 8. I don't think they can have a scenario which Harshit has picked to be going in with both Jadeja and Kuldeep. If they have to, then it has to be one slot down. They'll have to get to one slot down. They'll have to arrange for somebody else now to come at 7. Let's say that's Nitish Kumar Reddy who comes in at 7, and then you get a Jadeja at 8 and Kuldeep at 9, and then 2 fast bowlers and then Nitish to do, which is next to impossible. So that's what I'm saying. This is a scenario where I have seen Indian team feel uncomfortable on. Whether they change it this time, that's fine. They can do that. In fact, if it's a good batting pitch, many will say that you can.
Exactly my point. So but you're not stressing that much because
then that's a change of mentality. See, this pitch will not be as good as batting as Leeds. It'll be a batting friendly track, but not as good as that. So my point is, on the flattest of tracks that you got, you still had to have some cushion. And suddenly on a pitch that may still have something for bowlers, you're going to go bowler shot. So that means your mindset is changing.
So what you realize probably is that these are genuinely good. Remember, you scored 835 runs. So you realize that run scoring can happen, and India only had themselves to kick for the fact that they lost 24 wickets in the first innings. They lost 6 wickets, 6 of the last wickets were just 24. It became 31. So you realize that these are batting friendly conditions, and had the adaptation, rather application been better, you didn't have to really adapt a lot from what you get here in India. 835 runs at times. India doesn't score across 2 innings here in India also, for that matter.
And yet in India they'll never play like this. That's my point. So,
but you've realized what you realized was.
So then that is great. You're saying in that one test match they've had that realization, which is good because the last few years they've not been. Yeah. They've always been full BGT also. They were hell bent on playing.
I think it is also to do with the experience factor, because we've talked about the lack of experience in this Indian side time and time again. You suddenly can't let go of a Jadeja also, I feel, at a time where there is that possibility looms large of a Bumrah not playing. So how many young players can you have in the same team?
No, that is all fine.
Time?
I'm saying the whole mindset never was there of being okay with your batting finishing at 6. This is a mindset that India has not had for so many years.
But I think Dharamshala need to play with this sort of a side only, where Jadeja, Kuldeep both played.
Yeah, but India played 2 fast bowlers.
2 fast bowlers and 3 spinners.
But they played two fast bowlers, no? And then you get spinners in.
I think what you've realized.
They played Washington Sundar there to get batting. So what you're saying right now is only possible if you could play 3 spinners in a Washi. Then it makes that batting. No, my larger point is India has never been comfortable. Even on the flattest track in Leeds, they did not, where your bowling needed more cushion. At best they did was get a Shardul. Still needed batting. That's why. Otherwise, if they were so okay with this formula, they didn't need to go to a Shardul. They could have got 3 fast bowlers.
But I think what you realized is, again, and we've heard that time and again. We heard from Gautam Gambhir after the test match got over. You heard from Shubman as well. There is a desperate need to take those 20 wickets. So I'm trying to come up with a formula that gives me those 20 wickets, which is why I think I'm okay going with those, quote unquote tail enders, whom I'm not expecting a lot from. But I need these guys to be giving me those 20 wickets. No, it's okay if they don't give me.
I'm not denying what you have picked. I'm saying if this happens, it'll be a big day for Indian cricket. Their mindset change will happen, which has not happened till now. They've not done it. They've relied on batting cushion. They're very nervous to play without having batting till number 8. And that's not to say that Kuldeep is a bad batter. He's a decent batter, but they don't count him in the list of all-rounders. So they need to fit in, which is why when I had to make the team, that is why, as I said, a Jadeja has to go out and a Shardul has to go out, because looking at what India likes is so. Now I've had to really put a batter out there. Correct. So instead of a bowling all-rounder at 7, I've tried to compensate by having a proper batter at 7. So I've now balanced my batting. Out and out batters till 7. And then my bowler comes at 8, 9, 10, 11. Then I'm okay with that. But otherwise, with Jadeja at 7 and Kuldeep at 8, I felt the Indian team feels a bit nervous. Now you got 9, 10, 11. And then this is guesswork again. Nobody knows whether Bumrah is playing or not. So, go for it.
I'll go first. 9, 10, 11 or 1 by 1?
9, 10, 11.
Okay. Bumrah at 9. ARSHDEEP at 10. Prasidh at 11. Prasidh, I think you need someone who can hit the deck hard. For me, I think he makes the cut definitely. He did show some form in the second innings. Deserves another test match at least, maybe a test or 2. In case of Bumrah, you 52 probabilities here. 50%, you go without Bumrah, you can still win the match, and there's also a 50% possibility that you can lose the test match also. But let's say you rest Bumrah here and you go into the third test being 2-0 down, that's going to be a massive blow.
So you've dropped Siraj?
Yeah, I'm going to drop Siraj, yes. But just to make sure that my best bowler plays, because you know that there is still a 50% possibility for you to head into the third test with some kind of a parity. Bumrah, for me, definitely plays. And ARSHDEEP, I think only one reason why I'm going to pick him over Mohammad Siraj here. See, freshness does more good than harm. And in case of Mohammad Siraj, one thing that we have seen is that he has been terribly inconsistent. And I would not really want an inconsistent Siraj to feature for me, at least in this test. Let's just, I think, go back to 2014, the Border Gavaskar Trophy. There's a reason why Karan Sharma played ahead of R. Ashwin in that first test. You knew that Ashwin was very inconsistent. He went back to the nets, worked on his bowling, and then came back and played the remaining 3 test matches. Do the same with Mohammad Siraj, having work on his bowling, on his line and lengths, be more consistent. Use this as an opportunity to make sure that he comes good in the last 3 matches of the series. So, and in case of ARSHDEEP, even if it's a flat deck, at least he's that kind of a bowler who can try some kind of a variation. He can, come in with a slower ball, could be a Yorker also, and that's where Siraj, he lacks with these kind of variations when you don't, when you aren't really extracting anything from the pitch. So my 3 pace bowlers, Bumrah, ARSHDEEP and Prasidh. And with that said, I'm going to go with 4 specialist bowlers, with Kuldeep being the lone spinner.
I am also going with Jasprit Bumrah, keeping indicators in mind. Also the fact that...
What indicators?
He's been practicing. He's been practicing.
I thought you were saying press conference.
No, not just that, but yeah, more so the fact that there have been reports, we've put out those videos as well, that he's been practicing, so he's not off the ball per se. And also I think from where the series stands right now, you need Jasprit Bumrah to be there. You unleash him in Manchester, where yes, conditions are going to be aiding him much more, or in Lords, but I'll take that call later on which of those 2 test matches I can play him in. But I can't go to Lords 2-0 down in the series, and if I have the best chance of making it 1-1, I take that first, and let's see how the series pans out after that. So Jasprit Bumrah plays for me. The 2 other seamers I'm going in with, and that makes it a total of 5 bowling options that I have in this side, including a Jadeja, which I think is also key to you taking 20 wickets if that's the mantra you want to go by, are Siraj and Prasidh. I'm not going to make more changes right now. Siraj, yes, he's been up and down, as we saw in Australia as well, but I think right now, especially conditions, I think I'd rather unleash ARSHDEEP in swinging conditions, which are likely to aid him a little more when he's playing for the first time for the Indian team, and knowing the bowler that he is. I think a Leeds or an Edgbaston may not suit him that much as compared to, let's say, Manchester or Lords, where you're expected to get a little more swing in comparison. So I'm going to save him, and Prasidh plays because he showed some sort of spark in the second innings, and yeah, no place for Shardul as a result.
Only one change for you then.
Only one change for me. Yeah.
No, for him, no change. It was the same pace bowling from last time.
No, overall 11 I'm saying. Kuldeep ahead of Shardul Thakur.
I only was talking about the 3 pacer.
2, in fact, I think 3 changes from my end. Jurel comes in for Jadeja, Kuldeep comes in for Shardul Thakur, and ARSHDEEP for Siraj.
Yeah. My pace bowling attack is exactly the same as last time. Bumrah, because again, I think he's shown enough signs that he is fit. And if you have to take a call, you don't want to be 2-0 down. So I play him now. Again, Siraj, same thing. Everyone who sits outside on the bench looks the best. I still maintain tough conditions for bowlers. So again, based on 1 test match, neither Siraj nor Prasidh, I'm not going to change anything. As I said, I wouldn't have even changed someone like Shardul Thakur. But when the captain doesn't want to bowl him only, then no point playing him if you're going to bowl him 3 over spells. So if that is the mindset of the team, that you're not going to utilize him, then might as well not have him in the 11. That will be the more sensible thing to do, and which is why I've then gone with, because those 3 over spells twice or thrice in a test match, I'm sure Nitish Kumar Reddy will also bowl. That's why I have Nitish Kumar Reddy as a second option in case India is not comfortable playing with 4 bowlers. But you ask me, I'd still play Jurel because he was ahead of Nitish Kumar Reddy in batting. So I take him. And also the reason I went with Jurel is because I think, going forward, you may even need to look at the workload of a Rishabh Pant, because, he got 200s, keeps for so long. So with a Jurel in, he can keep the wickets as well on an occasion or 2. maybe an inning or two, and that allows Rishabh also to some sort of recovery time, which he hasn't been getting. Also gets hit a lot, as we saw in the first test match. So that is why I would have gone with a Jurel. But if the team, as I said, is not 100% confident, which India has not been, with 4 bowlers, even in BGT they were hell-bent on playing 5, though Australia continue to play with 4. So if they're not, then play Nitish Kumar Reddy, who gives you those short 3 over spells and has 100 in BGT, so gives you that batting cushion. So in terms of the entire balance, even if you go with a Nitish Kumar Reddy, I'm happy. Enough batting, enough bowling, and yeah, that's the team that I would go with. My only one other option I wanted to put, Bumrah. We're assuming that the team is going to take the risk and play him, just as I want him, and Harshit and Siddharth also want him. But just in case they don't risk playing Jasprit Bumrah, then my backup option, which you don't need to mention, then my next bowler in line will be ArshDeep. I would play ArshDeep, Siraj and Prasidh then.
I think if there would have been like out and out swinging conditions, I would have gone with ArshDeep ahead of ArshDeep for that matter. But this time around, if it's going to be another flat and a fast deck, swing may not play that big of a role. You might need some kind of a variation, and that's where I think that creativity is lacking. So you would need some kind of support for both Bumrah and Kuldeep. So ArshDeep for me then makes the cut.
Okay, let's go.
Let's take a few comments. Okay, Chili Paneer has a comment that I think only way India could compete in this is by playing 4 pure fast bowlers, out of which 2 can bat. Example, Kamboj at 8, ArshDeep at 9. Kamboj first class average is 16 and Shardul is 20. But Anshul Kamboj is not really a part of the squad. Like, he was a part of the India A squad that did feature in those couple of games against England Lions prior to the series. But Anshul Kamboj, maybe I think his time will come, maybe after this series, assuming Shardul Thakur does not do well. But this time around, I think I'm not really sure if that's going to be the case. Shubham Garg has a comment that, Nikhil sir, do you think Indian batters lack experience of playing with tail? Kohli, Pujara batted multiple times with 10, 11s and had 100 plus partnerships in England, South Africa and Australia.
Yeah, but what are the examples now of Indian batters having to have batted with tail? I think Jadeja is the only one who was batting with the tail. No other Indian batter I think pretty much got the chance.
Kohli has done it maybe on a couple of occasions. India, Sri Lanka, Eden Test.
That I know. I'm talking about now. He's saying the current batters he's talking about. But I want to know the examples of the current batters who had an opportunity to stitch together a big partnership with the tail and were unable to
In
do
fact,
so.
weren't we talking the other day how maybe that art of scoring big runs is fading?
From Indian batters, getting happy after the 100. Yeah, and making
With
100
Jasprit,
into...
we've seen it a few times though, that he likes to go big, and we've seen 169 and 171 from him.
Yeah.
But otherwise, those daddy hundreds that we used to see, that's sort of gone missing.
Yeah. Crystal Days has a comment. Vokes plus Cast batting in first innings win the match.
I think
I
so.
don't know if I get the meaning of TM, or is it tomorrow?
Batting in first innings.
I don't know. Crystal Days, if you can.
We're in a daze after listening to that.
Yeah. Okay. Chili Paneer has another comment. Retrospect 11. Jaiswal, Rahul, Gill, Karun, Pant, Sarfaraz, Jadeja, Kamboj, AarshDeep, Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Siraj.
I like the fact that he calls it retrospect 11.
Yeah, good point actually. Retrospect 11. No, I'll change that. My retrospect 11. Yashashvi, KL Rahul. Gill at 3, okay. Karun at 4, agreed. Pant at 5, fine. Sarfaraz at 6, also fine. Sarfraz is 7, no? No, 6. Sarfraz 6. Jadeja, okay, 7. Kuldeep at 8. No, but that,
but
that
are you
batting.
going to be okay
yeah.
with Jadeja at 7?
No, that's what. I'll have to get a batter. Nitish Kumar Reddy at 7.
Yeah. Or Dhruv Jurel for that
Kuldeep
matter.
at 8. 9 Bumrah. 10 Siraj or Prasidh, whoever. 11 Mohammad Shami.
Oh, yeah.
That would be my Shami started practicing the red ball. He's practicing at his hometown. He's telling everyone, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
But you are not taking me. Sir, Nizamuddin is asking AarSHDEEP in second test match, and I actually picked him in my 11 if Bumrah is not playing. So if there is a good chance that, I don't know, 50-50 we can say as of now. He's practicing also, but they've not 100% confirmed. I think he should play, but in that 30-40% chance that he does not, I'd actually play AarSHDEEP instead of him.
Same for me also. If Bumrah doesn't play, then AarSHDEEP plays. But AP Dillon stays out.
No, AP Dillon is in my team. No one says, learn from England how they tell whenever they lose the first series in a humiliating way. They straight away say home conditions, home advantage. Not a single Indian media, like you people support Indian youngsters, say that same. We should say what? Home advantage. He's saying, acha. We should say India did not lose, England had the home advantage. So, what will... I find that very interesting. So, we say that, how does that change? So, India go 1-0 up in the series. I say that if England says that, then what happens? They win the series and go from here. They didn't, na? They faced humiliation and went from here. But then now you say home advantage, disadvantage. We say, oh, India played well, home advantage, they lost. So what happens? Scoreline reverses. 1 to India, 0 to England. If it happened, then I would say it every game. I don't understand. Point of the matter, it doesn't matter who says what or what emotion or whatever. Scoreline is that England got humiliated. They kept saying baseball got humiliated, went back home. What have they done? Whether the media said that or didn't, they changed it. They removed baseball. Though now they are saying they are playing baseball with brains, which to me means cricket. So baseball with brains means cricket. So they were not playing cricket, now they are playing cricket. So I mean, that is the thing. So when you do this, then you have a foot in your mouth. When you keep going on like the English media. And that's what happens. So if you don't go like that, you say things the way they are, then that's the better way. That's also like, you can't be an ostrich with the head in the sand. Just because I am not seeing the danger I put my head does not mean the danger does not exist. It's better that you would have a media that doesn't sugarcoat things like you're talking about England media, but the one that actually tell you the way things are. But you want to be the ostrich with the head in the sand, then what to do? Then say everything is fine, nothing wrong, home advantage. Having said that, at the start of the series, I did pick England to win precisely for this reason. That listen, it's not easy to go and win in England. They do have a home advantage. In our history, if we won only 3 times, series, then that tells you in itself that it's a very tough place to go and tour. So.
Okay, Ruchir has a comment that can you play AarSHDEEP at 7? In that case, India can play 4 out-and-out fast bowlers plus Kuldeep Yadav, tail not contributing with runs. Shivam, go down. Jadeja, Shardul not scoring runs, which was expected from them. AarSHDEEP at 7, you are effectively going in with just 6 batters.
India won't do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
India won't do that. India would definitely not do that. Next.
Yeah, Abhishek Singh has predicted his 11. Rahul, Jaiswal, Nair, Gill, Pant, Jurel, Nitish Kumar Reddy, Kuldeep, ARSHDEEP, AarSHDEEP and Siraj. So no Prasidh Krishna, no Bumrah, no Sai Sudarshan and no Jadeja too. Quite ambitious. Abhishek Sable is saying Prasidh and Shardul must be dropped. Keshav Kumar is saying Nixer best team along with Nitish Kumar Reddy. Okay, Ashish Chandelier is saying that Zach Crawley and Ben Duckett are left-right combo with massive height difference. So length for Zach is short, while for Ben, it's really hard to bowl to these openers, and that's why Indian bowlers have found it tough so far.
It's an interesting thought.
Yeah. But I think in case of England, one thing that remains the same is that they do have the mindset just to score runs. They continuously want to be busy. Cricketers, as far as the test format is concerned, that wasn't really the case with them, when they played test cricket under the captaincy of Joe Root. So now, irrespective of the conditions and the opposition's bowling attack, they just want to be busy. But what really stood out for me as far as the England batting is concerned, I think that first session on day 5, first hour on day 5, in fact, for that matter, you still needed, I think, about 30 odd runs, and you still scored just 40 or 42 runs in the first hour, which clearly showed that you could apply yourself. Freaking Awesome is saying that I don't understand why you guys are going with Bumrah where India have a slim chance. If India lose, then again you guys would want Bumrah. I think India will need him mainly at Lords, maybe at Manchester also.
But why is he already saying India have a slim chance?
India have a 50% chance at least.
But I have a different. I think that you need to play Bumrah in conditions that are not helpful for fast bowling, because that's where he can do more damage than everyone else. In Lords and Manchester, you can go with other bowlers who will also be pretty effective. They need conditions to help you. Bumrah is that one bowler who can perform at a different level. So, flatter conditions, he's actually going to be the game changer. So, I would play him.
As he was in the first innings.
Yeah, exactly. I think you overbowled him there. Okay, final comment of the evening. Dev Pratap Singh Chauhan says, Nikhil, India need to get over Bumrah obsession as soon as possible. Such teams never win, be it Sachin of 90s or Virat of 14-16. It's performance of other 10 players which decide the result. Exactly what I said, Dev, at the start as well. England or other teams, they're not wasting their time too much, fretting over who's available, who's not. Who you have, best team, go with it, concentrate on winning. That's all India also needs to do. So I think that will be the best approach. Because see, sooner or later you'll have to, I don't know how long Bumrah has as a test cricketer. So, and you need him in white ball as well.
I think the clock's ticking.
Yeah.
You will soon have to look at test cricket beyond Jasprit Bumrah.
Exactly. Chalo.
At max maybe this WTC cycle. Maybe.
On that note.
I'm beginning to have doubts about that also. He says that perhaps you'll have to look past a Bumrah after this WTC cycle. I doubt how much we're going to see him going forward. He's aging. He's going to be 31, I think, soon. And yeah, at the moment what we're seeing with constant in and out, with him being constantly in and out, it doesn't bode well for the team that way. Also, you need to look at the fact that there's going to be a World Cup every year. Next year you have a T20 World Cup, for which again you will need him. That'll be followed by the IPL, so 3 months he's gone like that, playing all of those matches. The year after that you will need him for the ODI World Cup. So I doubt if you're looking at Jasprit Bumrah for the whole of this WTC cycle also.
Yeah.
On that note, Jeetu's made his 11. Jaiswal, Rahul, Sai, Gill, Pant, Karun, Jadeja, Washi he's got. No Kuldeep for him, huh? Then he's got ARSHDEEP, AkashDeep, oh my god, and Bumrah, Siraj, only one of them. It's a radical 11.
Yeah, assuming Bumrah doesn't play, it could be Siraj, based on experience.
Chalo, on that note, see you guys tomorrow. We'll do a big preview for the game. We'll look at India's chances, England's chances. We already know England's 11, we won't know India's 11. But we'll know various other things, the pitch, how it's looking like. And then we'll pick our winners based on conditions at hand. See you tomorrow, same time. Bye-bye. Take care.
Good night. Nandri, Shubhratri, Shabba Khair. Eat your vegetables. And don't trouble your mother. Bye-bye.